To the news of the hour in D.C. now. Breaking news. We're now learning Bill Barr has agreed to testify before the House Judiciary Committee comes as President Trump praises the AG for intervening in Roger Stone's sentencing. James Trusty, former prosecutor at Justice Department. James, how you doing? Welcome back.
Hey.
Talking about something today other than impeachment, all right? But here we go. You say the whole sausage factory has been made public. What does that mean with regard to the sentencing, the recommendation to pull it back, et cetera?
Well, look, it's not all that uncommon for the attorneys that went to trial, the line attorneys, to have a very strong view about sentencing by the time they get towards that sentencing. They've been living that case. They feel strongly. And in this case, they calculated the guidelines in a very aggressive way. But what usually happens is the supervisors up the chain say, you know, great job, guys, but calm down. It's not an 8-year or 9-year case. It doesn't have to be that harsh here. And they will walk it back before you ever see any of it make the press. And what's happened here is you had a sentencing memo that took the aggressive approach of making it an 8 or 9 year offense, when a lot of others would say it's about a 3 or 4 year offense. And so that's what's happening. We're seeing all this play between Trump's tweets and the AG commenting on it, and then eventually a revision to the sentencing memo that draws a lot of attention to what could have been a very easy internal decision.
Well, James, why? Why'd it go this way?
Well, look, I mean, there's certainly going to be people that are going to, you know, call for impeachment tomorrow night and say that this is corruption. But the reality is, if you really look at the facts of the case, and I'm no acolyte of Roger Stone, I think he'd be a very tough client. But the bottom line is what he said to Credico, to the guy that had kind of betrayed him, was obnoxious bravado, but probably not the stuff of a 5-year swing in his sentencing guidelines. And that's how they pled this thing out in their sentencing memo. They said it's a threat of physical harm or death, so he should be an 8 or 9 year guideline range instead of a 3 or 4 one. I think a lot of logical minds could say, hey, justice is a little j at DOJ, and justice here doesn't require 8 or 9 years for this particular defendant.
It just seems like there's a rub on the inside, and we're trying to figure out why. Again, I keep coming back to this. The president tweeted this late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, and Democrats jumped on it. Here's the tweet. This is a horrible and very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side as nothing happens to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice. Does that have any effect on what DOJ is doing or not?
Well, I think it has an effect on the public perception that Trump is essentially ordering that there be some change in stance. But the reality is probably pretty different. I mean, we'll hear from Barr when he testifies about this. I think he's going to say, look, I'm in the business of doing justice. I'm friends with the president. I accept a lot of his principles, but he's not going to tell me what to do on an individual case. I'd be surprised if he's reduced to tears and says, oh, I was being a political hack. I think it's a fair result to knock those guidelines down to where they were. It's just an ugly process that we're seeing.
Okay, but 7 and 9, you had a problem with that then, clearly.
Well, I just think if you look at the sentencing guidelines, it's a bit of a stretch to include this giant leap for threatening Credico. It's not that the facts shouldn't be considered. The judge should absolutely consider that, and everything else in this case, including bullet marks, retweets by Roger Stone to suggest that the judge should have a target over her head. There's a lot of bad stuff to talk about, but it ain't the case of the century. He's not the criminal of the century, and a 7, 8, 9 year federal stint seems a bit much.
So you have these 4 prosecutors who walk, and that got a headline. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I know of them. I don't really know these guys individually. But look, I mean, it's one thing to say I'm going to go back to Baltimore and end my detail. That's still sending a message that you're upset. But actually leaving the Department of Justice, as I think 1 or 2 of them did, that's a pretty strong stance. So they are certainly calling attention to this process and suggesting by their actions there's something really wrong with it. But I think we have to wait and see and hear whether clearer minds can say, no, I understand their passion, but it's misplaced.
Let me give you a couple of things. Here's Chuck Schumer. You probably heard this already. President claims that rigging the rules is perfectly legitimate. He claims a, quote, absolute right to order the Justice Department to do anything he wants. And the president has, as his AG, an enabler, and that's a kind word, who actually supports this view. The president this hour called it a whole setup, treated terribly, called 9 years a disgrace. Do you find that there's a phone call from the White House that says, this is overboard, pull it back? Is that something where eventually this could lead, or is that just the next shiny object on the hill for to go after on the House side?
Yeah, great question. Who knows? We may have 10 whistleblowers overnight that say they heard a phone call on this. But look, the reality is, and the politics are going to play out, right? There's going to be a lot of screaming and accusations at Barr's expense. But I think that Barr will get an opportunity to basically say, hopefully, probably, hey, look, we look at cases individually. I don't care that it's Roger Stone. I just know that 8 or 9 years was a bit much. And although my results coincide with the president's, he didn't dictate it to me in some political fashion.
Well, the whole sausage factory's public. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim Trusty in D.C.
Right.
Nice to see you again.
Sure.